My name is Kitaka Suleiman. I'm a farmer. I first heard about HIV in 1994. My wife had a baby, but in the morning the baby died. And during those times they used to tell us that people living with HIV, when they had children, the children died. I got so worried and scared. I thought that I had HIV, that my wife had got HIV and never told me. But at work, one time they came and tested us, and then I got to know that I did not have HIV. My wife died, leaving two babies that I could not look after. My friends told me that I should marry again, find a woman who could help me look after these children. I chose one of my friends to be my second wife, and because I had been with her for so long, I trusted her and I judged using my eyes and determined whether she did not have HIV. But I was wrong, because later on I discovered that she knew before entering the marriage that she was HIV positive. After some time, she got pregnant, but we lost the first baby. But then she got pregnant again, and it was on the second pregnancy that she got a fever. When I took her to the hospital, they told her that she was HIV positive. I doubted the doctors, because according to me, there is no way she could have HIV, because I looked at her and judged using my eyes, and she looked so good. I could not believe that she has HIV. So I wondered, where could she have possibly got HIV? But then her elder sister told me that you didn't know? By the time you got married to her, she already had HIV. I felt so sad and so disappointed. I had tested for HIV once, and this current wife of mine, together with her friend, had gone with me to pick the results, and she knew that I did not have HIV. But why would she keep quiet about her status? I felt so angry, so disappointed and sad. I thought that she had infected me also, and I started to be reckless with my life, drinking and doing all sorts of disgusting things, because I thought I was going to die. I tested again in 2007 and was found to be HIV positive. But this time I wasn't disappointed, sad, or surprised, because I had lived with people living with HIV and I had seen how they behave, and I had also thought that I had HIV, so I had lived the stress already. So this time I wasn't surprised, I wasn't stressed either, because I had lived that life before. I now started to think of how my life is going to move forward. Now that I'm living with HIV, how do I move forward in a way that helps and benefits my people and myself? Even though you can't rule out self-inflicted stigma in this kind of situation, I thought and I knew from people that I had lived with that I could be so careful and be patient with myself in order to move forward and fulfill my dreams. That's how I've lived with HIV. It's now 17 or 18 years already. Since it was my friend that infected me with HIV, I learned that there is no other possible way that one can tell if someone is living with HIV unless they go for a blood test. I tested using eyes because I thought that she was so beautiful and she looked really nice and there was nothing wrong with her. This is something that I tell everybody whenever I go out there in hospitals or anywhere. I tell them that even though you see the woman looking so nice, make sure that you first test. And even though a man has not told you that he has HIV, go ahead and test. It is important to test because our eyes are not the best judge of character, and we cannot see this HIV on someone's face. So it is important to go and test. That is how I've lived with HIV. The challenges have been so many and overwhelming, but I'm glad I went through them because I have learned a lot and I've got many friends whom I have helped to go through this HIV situation. I now live comfortably with my HIV because I accepted the fact that I have HIV. I cannot get rid of it. I cannot remove myself from it. It's part of me, so I accept it and I live happily with it. I understood and made it my friend. How? With a friend, you know what the friend wants, what the friend needs, and so you provide and make sure that you don't annoy your friend. I totally disagree. Being with HIV doesn't mean that someone is sick. It is possible to live with HIV without any other illness. And it's really helpful when someone believes and accepts that they have HIV and start medication immediately, because once you start this medication and take it properly, even there is no one that can even tell that you have HIV. This is why I really dislike people that point fingers at someone living with HIV, because once you point fingers at someone living with HIV, you create resentment, and this person will decide to revenge by infecting your wife if you're a man, or infecting your daughter, and in the end, you'll have HIV flowing in your family, which is bad. So, people should stop pointing fingers at someone living with HIV because they live with HIV, and this will stop this resentments and these infections, where people are just infecting others just because they're angry. If we are ever going to stop the HIV spread, then pointing fingers needs to stop. If you know someone that has HIV, what you have to do is embrace that person and love them. Speak in their lives. If they're doing something contrary to what the virus talks about, or they're just sleeping around, speak in their lives. Tell them that what they're doing is wrong. Otherwise, when you continue pointing fingers, it will end up just escalating the spread of HIV. I have developed a saying for me that HIV should stop with me. Why? Because people have really loved me and embraced me and shown me support. So I don't want to infect anybody else. So I make sure that HIV stops with me. The love given to me has really empowered me so much. For instance, I no longer feel ashamed to say that I have HIV. Now I live with cancer, and I go to hospitals where I find cancer patients looking really so bad, and diabetes patients looking really so bad, and me who has HIV, look at me. I'm really looking nice. And now, for instance, COVID was here. How many people died of COVID? But still, people living with HIV are still living. So, someone living with HIV should not be regarded as sick. The situation wouldn't be any different, although during long ago the virus really scared people, and it could cast a very somber shadow in the home. When someone got HIV, for instance, we used to discriminate that person and isolate ourselves from that person. Because when the virus came in, there was no treatment and there was no hope. Like when someone got it, you definitely knew that person was going to die. The situation is different now. We Africans have taken things for granted. When the white people came in here and brought in treatment, they really pampered us and loved us too extremely, which was right, because they needed to care for us and make us come out and declare our statuses. But then, with the treatment, people have become so relaxed and they're taking things for granted. They used to provide free food, free money. Sometimes they used to build people houses. But now those things are long gone, and people are now stuck in between. They don't know what to do, and this has escalated the spread of the virus. And besides, with the treatment now, people seem so used to HIV because they know that once they get it, there is going to be treatment for them. And the medication also makes someone taking it really so healthy. Like they really look so nice that you cannot even tell whether they have HIV or not. Because they take care of themselves. They follow the right treatment regimen that the doctors say. You have to eat well, you don't have to get stressed. So they know that they don't have to stress themselves, and that coupled with the medication, they really make healthy bodies and healthy lifestyles, which unlike these other people that don't have HIV, who keep on worrying about school fees for the children, how to feed their families, someone living with HIV is on a different line, and this has escalated the virus. How? You may find a girl at a workplace, in an office, and she has HIV, but no one around her knows that she has HIV, and she doesn't want to tell anybody. So these workmates will come and hit on her, obviously. There are many reasons why someone like that would choose to keep quiet, because they feel like when they tell people that they have HIV, first of all, they will be ridiculed, or they will be isolated, or they will even be chased away from work. For example, where I go to get my medication, There is a group of ladies that I normally get my medication with, but they have disclosed to me that they've lived with their husbands for more than 10 years, but their husbands don't know that they take medication for HIV. They've even got children, and now the wife is getting medication and the husband is not getting medication because he doesn't know. Now, do you see the kind of predicament the husband is in? He might get a new variant of HIV when he doesn't even know about it. First of all, where I get drugs, we are grouped into clubs. So I ask my club mates to be faithful with one another, to reveal what they are to their loved ones. If you really love your partner and you really care for them, why would you hide such a thing from them? In my opinion, when someone hides such a thing from their husband or from their wife, I feel like that's an evidence of no love. You don't care for someone, because if you really loved them, you wouldn't have hidden such a thing. And discordant couples really need to have an open communication on this issue. They need to be able to discuss HIV before even they get married. There are instances where the husband knows that the wife goes to the hospital to get drugs for HIV, but the husband refuses to go and get the drugs. So they end up sharing the medication, which is wrong. So my prayer to the couple, to the married couple, is that let's be faithful to our partner. Let us disclose to them what we are. Let us disclose our statuses to them. Chances are that person may not have gotten HIV, and in that case, when someone has not yet got HIV, there are medication that doctors offer them that they take to prevent them from getting HIV, so that the marriage can move on smoothly without each one of you infecting the other. Fortunately, our children have been born without HIV, most of them, and they've gone through the support and care and love and also rehabilitation, because this is a generation of rehabilitation. And those that have gone through the rehabilitation, my dear, you cannot even tell whether they have HIV or not. But one thing they must understand, the youths living with the virus, is that once you have HIV, doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. And living with HIV doesn't rid you of the freedoms of being a human being. For instance, you have a right to be loved and to love. So my humble request is to people living with the virus that they should find someone living with the virus and marry each other in the event that they're looking for someone to marry, because once two people living with the virus marry each other, they are very well able to understand themselves and be able to support each other. And because they will be following doctors' methods and doctors' advice, they will even be able to give birth to children that do not have the virus. And once we reach that stage of bearing children without the virus, we might be able to achieve an HIV-free generation.